Hey, shalom, 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 shalom. All right. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rikahakwadash. Double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. This is Naaman, the DC Cap, branch of Great Millstone, back for another video. All right. Also like to send out salutations to the Akim that are out there on the highways and byways, week in, week out. Also putting out numerous videos. Try to wake up the remaining, hopefully elect. Because, hey, as these prophecies dictate, time is short. All right. This is copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. All right. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use, because I'm not profiting off of this whatsoever. All right. So, lo and behold, guess what we got here? I was going to borrow a line from a man, you know, as he calls them, Shea-Butter Bootlicks. And this is Jake that, for some reason, just don't get it. They will continue to try to appease our chief enemy, the nation of Edom, the so-called white man. And here's a note. And this is Byron Donalds. All right. Trump just used the fuck out of these tools, and that's exactly what they are, tools. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the video. This is crazy, man. But this is something that we've been dealing with for generation upon generation upon generation and generation, as I'm going to show you, because we're wrapping up the Maccabees. But as far back as that, and even before then, but dealing with the nation of Edom, you know, you have to go back to the Maccabees, and this shit is sad, man. So let's go ahead and roll this. This is from the site I use every now and then, the Amazing Lucas. So here we go.
All that tap dancing for what? Oh my goodness. So we all know Brian Donalds as the physical embodiment of Stephen from Django.
I miss you like a home miss fly.
And he has had a rough time with the Republicans, because ever since Trump announced that he was running, they put in his mind, so sad but so hilariously funny, that he was going to be on the list of possible potential VPs, bro. They were gassing this man up, thinking that he was potentially going to be the next vice president of the United States.
Speculation continues to swirl over Donald Trump's possible picks for vice president on the Republican ticket.
Byron Donalds is an incredible guy. Incredible guy. And I noticed he happens to be on the list of potential vice presidents. Would anybody like to see him as a vice president? I noticed your name is very high on the list. That's good. You should be on the list.
So that was a fucking lie.
Then after that completely crumbled before his eyes, then they started saying, hey, what about a cabinet pick, right? You could be on the cabinet pick of Trump, right? You didn't get the VP, but you could still be on the cabinet pick. Because you have to understand, this man, the problem with people like this, the same problem with people like Kunis Owens, is that being, their go-to tap dancing raccoon is never enough. They always have, delusions of grandeur, we'll say. They always want to keep climbing the raccoon ladder. The problem is the raccoon ladder plateaus. It plateaus fairly soon, right? You get a good paycheck, but it plateaus because there is no going up, because the only people who go up are white. That's what.
And these are jackasses that refuse to believe that we are their enemy. Point blank, Period. Like he's saying here, you can buck dance, you can tap dance all you want to no end. Sooner or later, and sooner, they're going to let you know just where you stand in their eyes.
They want. So it plateaus. So for someone who's like really aggressive and is like, oh, I want to do more, they're going to have a tough time. So we have this with Brian Donalds. He didn't get the BP pick, which was Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Why aren't you the landlord? Yes, you. Why aren't you the landlord?
Because I don't want to put up with the bullshit.
Time. So we had this with Brian Donalds. He didn't get the BP pick, which was Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, to even think that you were going to get that. But now they're like, hey, you may be a cabinet. Then we come to find out he's not getting the cabinet.
So that was a fucking lie.
Bruh, they had this man doing an interview on CNN, and the lady asked, well, are you going to be on the cabinet? You know, is that what's happening? He's like, well, I haven't discussed that. I'm not surprised that I'm not a part of the cabinet pick because we've been doing other things.
Well, let me ask you, because I remember when your name came
Sambo
up as
vision.
a potential Speaker of the House.
And that's just what they're doing, laughing
based
at.
on the prominent role you played in this campaign and election, that your name would have skyrocketed to at least the front of the line. We are several cabinet picks in. Are you not surprised that you have not been named? Have you had a conversation about being a part of the administration at all?
All I will say is I am not surprised that I have not been named.
But, you know, I have other things in mind. Bro, they have been abusing this poor dunce. They have been abusing this man left and right. Just giving this dude just false hope.
But that does not mean I'm not going to do other things in the future.
Has he asked you?
No.
Has he asked you?
No.
Has he asked you?
No.
How the heck are you going to talk about you going to be on the cabinet, you not surprised, but you were never asked? Of course you're not surprised. You were never asked to be on the cabinet. Why are you acting like you in these conversations? Because this is what they do. They try to, in order to save face, they try to put up the front like, oh yeah, well we already discussed this, so this may be a surprise to you, it's not a surprise to me. All this goofiness, right? All this goofiness. Like, how do you go from VP to a cabinet pick, fam? And you don't know? They didn't ask you? Stop it, bro. You're playing yourself. So now, the next disappointment on Brian Donald's list of failures.
Another one. Another one. Another one.
Is now, there's rumor of him running for the governor of Florida, right? The governor of Florida. Bruh, you can't make this up. You have Trump talking about, oh yeah, I fully endorse him if he chooses to run. You know, absolutely. And Brian is on this interview, and they ask him, well, you know, Ron DeSantis ran, you know, in April, you know, during this time. Is that usually the time period that you're going to decide to run or decide to enter the race? And he's like, well, we haven't discussed anything right now, blah, 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 blah. Bro, just absolute nonsense.
Governor DeSantis, he jumped into the race when he ran for governor in January of 2018. When I was a young Cub reporter back in April 2010, I remember Rick Scott telling us that he was jumping into the race then. Will you make your decision by mid-April, like Rick Scott did?
Not really going to get into it now. There's a lot of different things that we're thinking through, but I do got to say, really appreciative.
Pathetic.
But to add insult to injury
It
on
is
his
pathetic.
list of failures, you have Ron DeSantis. Oh my goodness. Ron DeSantis has come out and thrown this man under the bus. And when I mean thrown this man under the bus, I mean thrown this man under the bus. Because it's posed to him a question about, you know what, Trump has endorsed him and will you endorse him? And DeSantis completely deflects. He says, well, I think the issues that we need to be focusing on and yada, 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 yada.
Trump endorsed Byron Donalds in the 2026 governor's race. Do you also plan to endorse the congressman? And if not, who are you looking at and why?
You know, my view is Donald Trump just got into office. I want these congressmen focused on enacting his agenda. They haven't done very much yet.
Then it gets to old Brian, bro. Old loyal Brian. He goes, well, he hasn't really done anything, bruh. He hasn't really been with us during these times of accomplishment. So I don't even know what to do with that.
We've achieved victories in Florida. We need to start achieving those victories up there. So I think people look at it and say, you know, you got a guy like Byron, he just hasn't been a part of any of the victories that we've had here over the left over these last years. He's just not been a part of it. He's been in other states campaigning, doing that, and that's fine. But okay, well then deliver results up there. You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see them delivering results.
That is probably the coldest thing I've seen, all right? Because even when DeSantis was running for president, he didn't even really throw Trump under the bus like that. He really didn't. Oh, the most I remember DeSantis saying is that Trump should be here at these debates, okay? He owes it to the American people. Wow. Like, okay, that's all you're going to do? Gotcha. But the way he treated Brian, bruh, the way he treated this dude, bro, that was uncalled for. I'm even saying that. I was like, damn, bro, he completely, boom, shot your nomination, your chances of running completely out of the water. Because what you have to understand, think about it. Florida has never, listen to me, okay? Listen to me. Never had a black governor. Never. All right? We saw what they had the last time they almost had a black governor. Y'all remember Bushy, what's his name? What's his name? That was found, just butt naked on the floor and everything. I forgot his name, bro. Gillum, that's his name, Gillum. Y'all remember Gillum? And that man, they had to put makeup on him because his black wife smacked the dog crap out of him after he embarrassed her. Oh, my Lord. That was brutal, man. I'm not going to lie.
See, because he was trying to, like we say, and you have to, in order to attain these high positions, whether it be here in what we're talking about in politics or in Hollywood or wherever, music industry, you have to perform. All right? Why would you, all right, knowing this, seeing this, all right, especially by, in this day and age, want to continue to be in this wicked ass system. All right, and that's what we're trying to present to Jake. We come out here on the highways and byways, we do these videos, trying to expose you to what's really going on. All right, try to get you out of this illusion that you're living in, and at the same time we realize there's only going to be a few. All right, because so many are caught up and keeping up with the so-called Joneses, and that's what's going to get them caught up. All right, as it says in Matthew. Hold on, let me get it. St. Matthew here. All right, about laying up your treasures. Let's see, I think it's 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth. Why? We're seeing this. It talks about, let me finish it out. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a little chest cold here. He says, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. And part of that corruption, as you see here, cause to disappear. This is make reference to moth or rust. Our Lord would teach how perishable are such earthly treasures. All right, they're gonna try to set you up, and the they that I'm talking about is our enemies. All right, we're the ones that everyone loves to hate. If you hadn't caught on by now. All right, let's see. 20. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor dust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And that's Jake in a nutshell. Their minds are so caught up into this. And we know that this devil, this so-called white man, these Edomites, these JOOs that run everything, this is how they come at Jake, knowing who we really are. You think they want to give this up? We're coming into a phase now, a time now, all right, where they're being exposed. So what do you think they're going to do? They've lived deliciously as a result of this lie that they've told the world that they are us, that they are the Israelites. So in order to maintain this, you have to understand, when we bring out scriptures like Daniel 12:1, let me get it. Why do you think that this is going to be an issue? All right. Let me read this. It says the time of the end. This man, especially here in America, is making all kinds of enemies, and it's almost as if it's being done on purpose. Canada to your immediate north, Mexico to your immediate south, everyone in NATO, the European Union, the EU. And that's going to bring about Revelation 17th chapter, where it talks about they shall hate the whore. America is that whore. Everyone came over here to get a piece. And they went about spreading that wine, that philosophy, that democracy. And they're tired of it because they see how filthy that really is. You know, this is Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So it's telling you there's going to be a time to come on this earth such as never has been before, nor will it be after. What do you think that fucking means? Well, we know that Klaus Schwab, yes, and you have to understand, these people that you vote for are not the ultimate powers that be. It's the ones behind the scenes. The banksters and those families run this world. Let me repeat that. The banksters, and that's the way I said it, the way I said it for a reason. The banksters run this world. They dictate. Remember what the patriarch of the Bauer/Rothschild family said. He said, give me control of a nation's money. I'm paraphrasing. And after which I care not who makes the laws. What do you think he was telling you? Because money. And the control of it is what the ultimate power is in this world. See, there's not going to be any more physical money. They're going to have to switch up to a digital system, as the prophecy in Revelation 13 verses 16 and 17 is trying to tell you. They're going to have to change the system. That way it's more control. I can tell when you bought something, who you bought it from, and when, and whatever. It's more control. And also, I can cut you off at any point in time that I wish. See, these Jake running around here thinking that this is it. You know, they in for a very rude awakening, and rightfully so. Fuck them. You know, this is that point where, you know, the lines are being drawn, and you have to make a choice. Revelation 13, 16, and 17 is telling you who's going to be your God. Is it going to be the Most High, or is it going to be the so-called white man? And in 14th chapter, verse 9, it tells you after making your choice, That is, if you choose this so-called white man as your God, well, what's your punishment? See? So, we have individuals like that are leading, all right, those of our people that, hey, are caught up in this world. And they're being, what's the word I want to use? Again, these people are tools of our oppressors, all right? They're just being led on just enough to where they think they actually have some kind of shot, all right, at being the man, which they never will, all right? And in any case, they're not going to let you do anything for your people. Again, this goes back, we're studying the Maccabees, right? Let's go to First Maccabees, because you had these sellouts even back then. First chapter. I'm going to skip down, you know, about Alexander the Great. After his father died, he took over, and for 12 years he established, you know, the the Greeks, after they took over that region and called themselves such. All right, this is the beginning of the rule of the so-called Greeks. All right, so here we are here down at verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. This is after, of course, I guess I should have started at 10 or even 9. It says, and after his death, talking about Alexander the Great, they all put crowns upon themselves. These are his generals. You had Lysimachus, Seleucus, Ptolemy, all right, and Cassander. All right. So they started to rule, and it says, and there came out of them a wicked root, all right, and this wicked root, all right, came out of Seleucus, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, such as the one we're talking about now, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so for herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, of course. This is another thing that gets Jake in trouble. You think because your enemy smiles at you that you've, I don't know, that you've won favor, and no. Oh boy. Anyway, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. That's the important part. According to the customs of the heathen. And that's what Jake out here is caught up in. The customs of the heathen. Even in these wicked ass churches that they go to. Alright? The customs of the heathen. Especially, I should say, those wicked ass churches. Those, as the scriptures call them, harlot houses. Because it's idolatry. That's not the Most High. That's not the God of the Israelites that you're worshiping. 15. And made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Uncircumcised. So no longer were they following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Israelites. They wanted to do what the heathen did. Case in point, what do you have doing here in America? That's why we're in the predicament we're in. All right. So let's go back to the video.
Sir, oh my Lord, that was brutal, man. I'm not gonna lie, that was brutal. So Florida really not really about that life of having a black governor. It's just not.
I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
That's not what Florida wants is very much a racist place, just as much as a racism, with the Republican Party. That's not what they want. The problem is that these goofies, as I said before, get illusions of grandeur. Is that they want to be more, and they don't understand. Listen, Negro, you are not a part of the party.
There
you are
go.
nothing more than a token for them to use,
a tool,
to utilize, to gain more empowerment for white people, for white conservatives, for white Republicans. That's all you are. You're not really a Republican. They don't see you as a Republican. They don't see you as MAGA. They see you as a useful idiot to forward their agenda. Damn. Nothing more, everything less. Damn. You let Brian Donalds get out of line. You let him start huffing and puffing and say, you know what, I don't think this is right. He will get booted so quick, so fast. Because the sad part is, this is where black people have been relegated to when it comes to politics. You are either tap dancing for the left or you tap dancing for the right. Yep. That's how that works. That's how they positioned you in this system. And unfortunately, when it comes to the tap dance on the right, it is brutal, bruh. It is absolutely just, talk about the Olympics, talk about slavery, talk about, man, it is like a decathon of coonery. They just all trying to outdo one another. They say, oh, look what I can do, look what I can do, in hopes of moving up in the ranks. And then, bruh, what DeSantis does is after he's done throwing Brian under the bus, he then talks about his wife. Because what he wants is his wife to be the governor of Florida.
You know, people ask me all the time about our wonderful First Lady, who has done a fantastic job as First Lady of Florida. And there's been a lot of people, I was asked on it on Fox the other day about, all these people are chattering about her running.
And to be honest with you, if Florida, and we all know Florida, if Florida's going to choose Brian Black-ass Donalds or Ron DeSantis' wife, they're going to choose Ron DeSantis' wife. We're going to be honest with you. Come on now. It's just not going to happen. He has no shot in hell, okay, despite Trump's endorsement. And what type of endorsement is that? Oh, yeah, if you choose to run a hunt, sure, yeah. I would love to see Trump on the campaign trail with Brian Donalds. I would love to see it. After DeSantis has already said, you know what, I don't really want this Negro to be governor of Florida. I really want that. I want my wife to do it. And the Floridian people want my wife as well, okay? Especially over this Negro. So I think it's sad. Because this man, he's really doing his most, man. He really doing his most. They patting him on his head. They telling him, you a good boy. You gonna do great things. And they just lying to him, bro. They just lying to him.
Can't feel sorry for a motherfucker like that.
That's a video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you disagree or like, Lucas, this is nonsense. He's a great man. I would vote for him, okay? I would vote for Brian. I think he'd make a great governor, all right? Or if you have believe, oh yeah, sure. The same people who say that never show up at the voting polls, okay? Just so we're clear. The same people who are on Twitter and everything talking about, oh, I love Brian. He'd be a great governor. Don't live in Florida. That's just how it works, bro. That's just how the cookie crumbles, okay? It is what it is. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you know where to...
So there you go. Another case of, these bootlicks. In the end, and it usually doesn't take very long. They get what's coming to them. And like I said, it's usually, especially in the Republican Party, it's brutal. It's... But like I said, you can't feel sorry for somebody like this. All right, they sold out long ago, and again, they never had intentions of doing anything for the people. As in the scriptures here, you got to understand the Pharisees, especially. What were they only concerned with? Their station. All right, how they looked in the eyes of the Romans, and Yahushua, when he came along, was a serious threat to that. All right, because he was actually about, the elect of his people. All right, trying to, concern for his people, and that was a big no-no. And the same thing is happening today. They've got to maintain that and use assholes like this guy. Again, a tool. And like my man says, what do these Edomites like to do with their tools when they finish? You know, break their tools, and it's usually public, and it's usually done in a way to humiliate that tool. Okay, so once again, I hope whoever reviews this video is edified. That's what we do here at Great Millstone. All right. So with that, hey, until the next video, hey, shalom.